It's day one of the grand finals at PMWC 2025. Alter Ego, fresh off an unbelievable group stage, carried the same confidence and aggression straight into the finals. And they proved it by winning the very first match, showing the world that they are here to take it all. But in match 2, it was Yangon Galacticos' turn. Coming all the way from the survival stage, they delivered a masterpiece. Flawless rotations, clutch team fights, and a chicken dinner to seal it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hype it up as much as you can. Now let's jump straight into it. The flight path runs from Kuori to Stalbard. Yangon Galacticos head for their usual drop at Georgipool. But while gliding, Romeo spots something. Ruins is completely clear, not a single player dropping there. So why leave it empty? He decides to claim it. Now the circle forms and it's central, slightly favoring the eastern side. Georgipool is out of the circle, but that's not much of a problem because Romeo holds ruins and that's inside. And Georgipool isn't that far from the circle either, so Yangon Galacticos take their time to load up properly before getting on with their rotation. Now by 6 minutes into the game, they start to move. But first, let's look at the options they have to get into the circle. The easiest one is of course, drive straight to Romeo who's holding ruins. But if we look at the bigger picture, Rozhok, school and its nearby areas will most probably be crowded because it's quite central. Pochinki is occupied. They know Falcons owns it. The military bridge and its nearby areas isn't safe either because 4th Thrives, Nongshim Red Force, Weibo Gaming, DRX and Alpha Gaming as well will try to get hold of those areas. So if the next circle shifts east, Yangon Galacticos are going to have a really hard time to get in. Yes, they could go for long rotations and try entering from safer sites. But why make things complicated when they already have the space and options in phase 1, options they won't get as the game progresses? So Yangon Galacticos doesn't fall for this illusion of an easy entry. The safest option for them is to move north and enter the circle from there. Hora drops at Yasnaya, which is so massive that both Yangon and Hora can share it for now, and Ida goes Stalbard. These are the only teams out there. So firstly, it's less crowded, which will make the rotations a lot more easier. And if by any chance they face something unexpected, they have Yasnaya and its nearby compounds to hold on to. Because as I said, the area is massive for multiple teams to share it without engaging. So Yangon Galacticos head north. They skip the bridge because why risk an ambush when they already have a safer route available? They rotate along the very edge of the circle, hugging it closely from the outside, careful and focused. And luckily, they don't encounter any team. But Hora might still be in Yasnaya, so driving close to the city isn't safe yet. So Yangon Galacticos keep following the circle's edge, eventually making their way near Lipovka. Now with the blue zone closing in right behind them, they have to move into the circle. Saycloud quickly scouts the nearest compound. It's clear, we can hold it for now. The whole team regroups there. Now the first circle closes, the second forms, and it's a central shift. But this shift isn't easy for Yangon Galacticos. In fact, it's pretty complicated. These areas out here are definitely going to be chaotic. They are some of the best positions to hold right now. A direct entry into them would be nothing short of hellish. They have to rotate through the northwestern or the western side if they want an entry without fighting the gatekeepers. In fact, the western side might be packed as well with teams like DRX, Weibo, E-Arena, 4th Thrives, Falcons and even Alpha Gaming. Regnum Kaya and Power might be gatekeeping the northern entry. So all in all, they have to be ready for a fight while entering the circle. There's just no safe way in. So now Yangon gets on with the rotation and towards north. But they can't just rush in without scouting because as I showed earlier, there's a high chance of teams already set up and gatekeeping. So they take it slow. But in the meantime, the blue zone has already touched them and is now closing into the circle. But the damage isn't that fatal yet, so Yangon doesn't need to rush. They drive past the Rozhok hill, keeping an eye on school and apartments for any movements. Smile drives ahead towards this compound for scouting, while Saycloud scouts this compound. And luckily, it's clear. The edge is clear. They capture these compounds for now and heal themselves up. Meanwhile, the third circle forms and it's a complete central shift. Yangon Galacticos are now obviously out of the circle, but the edge isn't that far from them this time. And what's even more important is that the potato hill isn't that far either, which is a decent position to hold on to for now. And it's pretty deep into the circle. But things aren't that simple as it looks. Because if you have observed, the potato hill has been at the center of the circle from the very start. Yes, it's a very risky position when it's central and I'll never recommend holding it. But now when the circle has closed in, Potato Hill is a pretty decent option. So the teams who are holding somewhere nearby might have already captured it. But Yangon Galacticos also wants control of the potato hill, so they decide to go for it. If we have to fight, we'll take it. We can't run the entire match. So Saycloud goes ahead to scout, but he suddenly spots some vehicles closing into him from Pochinki. It's Falcons coming up the ridge and both of them spot each other. But Saycloud doesn't stop. He continues ahead towards the potato hill and gets control of the western edge. Meanwhile, Falcons drive back and gets control of this compound. But Yangon Galacticos didn't see it. They don't have any clue of what Falcons might be planning. They might just rotate behind and backstab them. That's possible, and Yangon doesn't want to risk it. So Smile drives ahead to hold this compound. This way he can assist in both these directions, while Mernat and Romeo stays behind to avoid backstab. Now the next circle forms and it's a central shift again. The northern part of the potato hill has been pushed out, but the majority portion is still in. The whole Yangon squad regroups on the western side of the potato hill. But suddenly, Saycloud hears gunshots coming from the opposite side. It's Alter Ego already holding the hill. Saycloud finds an angle on Rosemary and knocks him down. And that's their opening. Smile moves ahead and quickly takes control of this plank house. Meanwhile, Saycloud could see that this switch is clear. Alter Ego is way far behind, so Mernat and Romeo capture it. Yangon Galacticos are now slowly getting control over Alter Ego. But the blue zone is right behind, and the compound Smile is holding is out of the circle, so he decides to drive towards this ridge, but then suddenly, Rosemary strikes back and he knocks Smile out of his vehicle. Romeo trades back and knocks Rosemary out, but Alva from the other side gets an angle onto Mernat and knocks him down as well. In a matter of seconds, Alter Ego has turned the tables. But Yangon aren't done yet. Romeo gets Smile back on his feet, and as Alter Ego starts pressing forward, Smile tosses a brilliant nade that takes down Krypton. But Alva is quick on the trade, knocking Smile right back.
Having a real struggle start going into playoffs already, again removed from the equation. Alter Ego continue unloading the mortar strike, nade after nade on top. It's been an extremely...
Rosemary gets third-partied by Ida, and that's a disaster for Alter Ego. And Krypton is already down, leaving them as a two-man standing against the trio of Yangon Galacticos.
Is down. Now Alva needs to pull out something special. Yangon Galacticos down to just the two players knocked for them.
Alva belly crawling, using the grass and the ridge side to provide him some additional cover. Quick jump spot, seeing if he can get visual contact over the edge, over the smoke. Vahidan as well takes a stray bullet from the side. Nonshin Red Force building into this one.
Just need to pick Krypton back up again. Technically, he is in cover, so Alva will head back down there, but a full 3v3 and plenty of nades to work with. Saycloud might just be on target there with that one. Descends over the top, and it won't be a...
Absolutely insane nade from Saycloud confirms Krypton and knocks out Alva, leaving Moana as the only one alive for Alter Ego. He then does what anyone would have done in this situation, that's to back off, and Yangon Galacticos now have the control of the entire area of the potato hill.
That fight has gone no way near how they wanted it to go down. Trapped as well as he gets the overall lay of the land with the squads that are close by. He's just got to get his head down, tuck into position. It's Ida from the sideline that takes shots towards him, opens up an opportunity for Nonshin. Alpha with the nade, rolls it on target, and it is a strike from Reefus.
Now the next circle forms and it completely favors Yangon Galacticos. This is what they exactly needed. The potato hill is still in. Romeo spots T24 downrange and eliminates him out of the match. Saycloud then lobs a nade towards Alpha Gaming and it connects Reefus. Then another nade and another knock. This time it's top. The high ground is making it a lot more easier to connect nades. But Mernat exposes himself towards Ida and he gets knocked instantly. And to make things worse, Team Secret decides to drive towards the potato hill and engage in a fight with Yangon. Luckily, Saycloud was quick to move, so he revived Mernat by then.
More and more intense. Secret catching vision.
This is the nice thing about Regnum Gary as well, is that we mentioned it beforehand, where they're a proactive team. They don't allow themselves to be caught up in the moment and just sit around, feet up, watching telly inside these compounds. They are very much active on the outside there. They took shots over towards Alpha Gaming. They cut out over towards that south side. It's not a crazy amount of points they're able to find this game in terms of elims, just the 3, but they've confirmed a strong spot on that southwest side. Weibo are in front of them, as you've mentioned. I'd like to see how they're going to handle this into the future, because it's some weird terrain that they'll have to push through.
This ridge in between is blocking both Yangon and Team Secret from finding any kind of opening. And in the meantime, the next circle forms, and it favored Yangon Galacticos again. These end circles favoring them is massive. But as the circle slowly shifts away from the potato hill, they are starting to get exposed to Relentless angle, which isn't a good thing because the ridge which was preventing Team Secret to close in has gone out of the circle. So now they have to focus on both these sides. Meanwhile, on the other side, Nongshim Red Force, who are out of the circle, slam straight onto Eider. And Yangon from this position has an amazing angle to the sniper tower.
Dude, yeah, Nongshim engaging. Yeah, this is go time for both squads. You've got to build off the back of this. Crash in, up towards the compound. Nade close. Zizzy takes the...
Cloud steals away the elimination of Emery, and Alpha Gaming on the other side wipes out the entire squad of Relentless, who are trying to enter the circle. And now Yangon Galacticos don't have to worry about them. It's Team Secret who are the only threats. And all these teams out here have no way to challenge Yangon Galacticos unless the circle shifts away from them. And the next circle shifts towards them. The perfect end for Yangon Galacticos. Holding this potato hill was the best decision they could ever make.
Like I said, it's an efficient, I want to call it teamwork between both teams, but it's an agreement, right? You both have an extremely strong position. Let's get rid of the teams that could cause problems for us later on before we engage in one-on-one combat.
Yeah, you know to prioritize first. Don't poke the hornet's nest until it's time to engage. Frankie with a move up. Wow. Damage back over. Slapping him there. Forcing him into a bit of a rough spot. 3 squads going head-to-head, of course. And Alpha Gaming only have the 1 man left alive. That's Reefus that's further down.
This will be the second game in a row that Alpha Gaming have been able to get themselves a podium finish with a solo player towards these end circles. He's going to make a break for it. Murnat definitely saw him, was wondering why he went for that play. I don't think he had much choice in that situation. Murnat had actually pushed off that position as well. It's just unlucky he comes out at that timing. Trang will go down.
Shots back and forth, trades on either side. Intensity building, Cloud looking for the angle. Murnat from further back, able to assist. They can focus fire on Frankie. He's removed, cauterize it and reset. 2 players alive, focusing on the pickup as well. Grab Romeo.
I mean, just make it as hard as possible. A 3v1. There's absolutely no way that Jaiki should be able to get himself out of this one with Yangon Galacticos starting to move up. And the map is enveloped by space as they suffocate out the rest of the teams from the high ground, pick themselves up a big chicken dinner. Not only against some of the hardest spots in the lobby like Alter Ego, but Regnum Kaya, who sent their way up there earlier, who did get backstabbed.